Oh, there we go. That's a new sound. Cool. Okay, so improving nutrition. Like I said, we are going to be recording this one for anybody that misses out. They can jump in at a later date. Get involved, ask as many questions as needed, anything that you're struggling with, anything at all. That's what tonight is all about. Hopefully we can knock it out in about 15 minutes. But if there's any questions at all, please feel free. If you are watching this on a recording, I will post a link to our website in the comments or in the description, wherever you post on YouTube. Still figuring that out. And yeah, you can get in touch that way. If you've got any questions or dramas, obviously our coaching team, you've got access to me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Take advantage of it. But look, we're talking nutrition. We're talking making improvements as we go. So I've got two tabs open here. Obviously, I've got my Fitness Pal open and this young lady, Erin, her nutritional graphs is what we're going to be working off tonight. Everyone's going to be different, so I'm going to make this sort of as generic as possible, but obviously apply whatever you need to your own personal circumstances. The first thing you need to look at is, let's look at my Fitness Pal here. Love my Fitness Pal. There's different nutritional trackers out there, but my Fitness Pal is probably the most popular option out there. It does link in with our coaching software as well, which is one of the benefits of using my Fitness Pal. But the big thing we need to look at here is having a look down here, the daily goal. Where are we? This one here. Like I said, I love my Fitness Pal, but their calculations they use to calculate your goals are a little bit skewed. So ignore the goals that my Fitness Pal actually set and work back in to the goals. Oh, if you can see that, I'm going to move everybody around. The goals that we've actually set you. So protein in this case is 130 versus 89 that my Fitness Pal has set. So as you can see, there's quite a significant difference there. 225 carbs in my Fitness Pal and 166 carbs, the ones that we've calculated. So there is a significant difference. My Fitness Pal is great for tracking and keeping on top of everything. But like I said, the calculations are a little bit out. Okay, so what we look at once, we're going to try and keep this quite simple. The first thing I would get you to do is track your nutrition, get as specific as possible with it. So play with values, play with serving sizes, all of that sort of stuff. The more accurate you are with your tracking, the more accurate I can be or your coach can be when it comes to actually calculating your nutritional targets, because they will change as you progress through your training blocks. We might want to up your calories, we might want to drop the calories, and we can't really do that if there's no accuracy with what you're tracking. That being said, let's make the assumption that everybody is tracking 100%. Everything you eat, you drink, with the exception of water, goes in my Fitness Pal. Water's a freebie. You can have as much of that as you like. Obviously, we do set water targets, but that's null and void in this case. Okay. Once you've loaded my Fitness Pal in, once you've got everything loaded in, I'm working off yesterday's diary entry, sorry, for Erin. Once everything is in there, the very first thing that I would do is just have a look at it as a whole. Okay, so we look at, in this case, Erin's having 3 meals plus a snack. Actually, just on a side note here, I do like to relabel, instead of saying breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. My Fitness Pal will actually, I think it's under settings somewhere, you can actually relabel those as meal 1, meal 2, meal 3, meal 4, meal 5, and I think you got meal 6 in there as well. label them what you want. I went through a stage where I was actually labeling them as a time of day that I would schedule in my meals. The reason I don't like the snack word in particular is psychologically, it creates a smaller volume of meal. So we've got, in this case, 1, 2, 3 meals plus snacks. So decent size, decent size, decent size, and not so decent size. A good way of thinking of this is creating 4 different meals of a more uniform size, just to keep that constant flow of nutrition coming into the body, and space it out throughout the day, especially if you are going from say like meal 1 to meal 2 when there's a big gap. You might want to play with the fat content in that, maybe slow the digestive rate down, just so that so long as you've got that constant influx of nutrients. So we've looked at it as a whole. We've got, what have we got here? Looks like being brekkie, I would say that's ham on toast. I'm good for that, ham on toast. Lunch, chicken and veg with some corn thins, always a great option. Love my chicken and veg. Dinner, again, chicken and veg there it's awesome. And then a snack here, roasted nut bar. Cool. Just on the what do they call them, the oat bars and the nut bars and things like that, I'm all for those. If you can make it fit, it's all about doing the things that you're currently doing in a healthier manner. So as you can see here, the being nuts, they're obviously higher in fats, and Erin uses that as a bit of a spacer between, like I said earlier, if she's got a bigger gap between different meals, nice little hit of fats there is always nice. But overall, we've got some really great stuff going in. 2 meals with veg or salad, awesome. And brekkie, obviously, as a general rule, I say have some sort of fruits or veg or something of that nature in every meal. So for brekkie, I might suggest say maybe have some tomato with it, or fry up a bit of onion or something like that. It doesn't have to be boring. Obviously, if she wanted to do scrambled eggs or something like that, you throw in your capsicums, your shallots, all the fun stuff. But that's really the only thing I'd pick up in terms of food, what sort of food she's having, just to have a bit more fiber through brekkie. So we've looked at it as a whole. It looks 90% pretty great, actually. It's pretty good. The next thing we look at is total calories. Now, total calories, I'm not too concerned about here because they will alter. So what I look at here is your proteins, your carbohydrates, and your fats, your nutrients, macronutrients they call them. Macronutrients, proteins, carbs, and fats. Micronutrients, vitamins and minerals, all that sort of spectrum. So total cals, look, Erin's target's 1535. Her total for the day, back over here, is 945. So it's actually really low. And Erin is in a position where we are slowly introducing more foods into her day. We're trying to build some muscle, and obviously the more muscle you have, the quicker you can keep the body fat down. It's just an all-round good thing. So we're low. We're about 50% lower than what we should be. Okay, so we need half that again. In terms of macronutrients, the number one thing we look at, protein intake. I know I'm going to sound like a gym bro when I say this, but protein intake, two things that that we need to stimulate muscle growth or maintain our muscle. Number one is the stimulus on the muscle, so heavy weights. And number 2 is sufficient protein intake. So Erin's target came out at 130 grams. You can see over here. She's currently hitting about 80. So what that means is we obviously need more protein. So what we do, and you can do this for all 3 macros, proteins, carbs, and fats again, you can go through and look at your day to day. So, you know, we've got 3 meals. So I'm going to ignore snacks for this case. In this case, we've got 3 meals that Erin is regularly having. We take her targets, so 130, my trusty brain sitting next to me, 130 grams, divide that by 3 meals. Comes out at 43 grams per meal, and that's a great target to have. In terms of protein, you know, try and again get that even spacing throughout the day. Depending on the person, we do try and say no more than about 50 grams per meal. We want to try and utilize the protein as a nutrient, not just as an energy source. So protein full of amino acids, they're basically the amino chains. They build the muscle, repair the body, all great things. So the body will only utilize the nutritional value of that within a certain amount. Generally, I say about 50 grams, but obviously if you're a bigger guys in particular, high testosterone levels, if you can handle a little bit more protein per meal, you know, nothing's set in stone. So like we said, 130 grams spaced across 1, 2, 3 meals gives us 43 grams of protein per meal. So that's a great little target for Erin to have. So we really need to, again, half that again. So for brekkie, it might mean, I'm going to share a little bit about Erin first of all. We struggle a lot with the sheer volume of food. She's never really been a big eater, as you can see here. Total calorie intake is under 1,000 calories. So we're slowly introducing more volume and more bulk. So what I've suggested for Erin to do, we've got a coffee here. Why not have a second coffee? You know, it's 8 grams of protein. Fats and carbs are down anyway. I've looked at Erin's this morning, actually. I was chatting to Erin about this. We can afford to have the extra carbs. We can afford to have the extra fats, but we need the protein. So let's have an extra cup of coffee, perhaps, made on skim milk, 250 grams. So that's going to score us an easy 8 grams of protein. And what's to say that she doesn't have to have it at brekkie? She could slot it in, you know, the 3 p.m. munchies. There's an easy 8. We could also add an extra slice of ham. There's another 4 right there. There's 12 grams of protein easily. What's that take us up to? That's 30 for brekkie. You see where I'm going with this one, right? And lunch and dinner, they're pretty much carbon copies of each other, just with the exception of these corn thins. So what I would say is add half that chicken again. And I know it's in ounces here, so let's just pretend that let's say it's 100 grams of chicken breast that she's having. I don't know what the conversion is between ounces and grams. Let's say it's 100 grams. We're getting 25 grams of protein out of that. Awesome. Let's halve it and add, well, let's go 150%. So 150 grams of protein, of chicken, sorry. That'll come out at, how's my math? 37, 38 grams. That's an easy hit. And there's another one there for dinner as well. So that's pretty much how you go about that, and do the same for your carbohydrates and your fats as well. We're already adding the extra carbs. Where is it? Carbs and fats from her coffee. So again, Erin's is really easy because it is pretty much, as you can see down here, our macro distribution. So this is one thing that we do look at, her percentages down this bottom right-hand corner here. If we look at, this is the one we're looking at here, yesterday's, they're pretty dead on. So protein, these are our targets. Protein comes in at, rounded up, call it 34 grams, 34% of her daily intake. You know, she's nailing that. Carbs, call it 43%. She's hitting 42. Fats, 23. She's hitting 23. So as far as the distribution, the ratios go, 100%. You know, that's awesome. So that tells me that we really only have to get up the volume. That's really the only thing that she needs to do. Have we got any questions so far? Feel free to sing out or type anything in the chat if there are any questions. So like we were saying, protein is number one in my book in terms of macros. Fats are super important. Please don't discredit fats. You know, help balance in our hormones, carry the nutrients around the body. Super important. So fat as a nutrient, great. Fat as body fat, you know, depending on levels, not so much. Carbohydrates, they're always the fun one. They're the flavor points. So the more you move, the more active you are, the more carbohydrates we get to play with. Okay, everyone's with me so far? I'll take that as yes. Cool. So some top tips to help you with this one and help keep you on track. Number one, set up a full day's intake, plan ahead. So what are we, 7 o'clock at night, almost 7:30 at night here. I would sit down and plan out tomorrow's nutrition. That way you're not standing at the cupboard looking for dinner. You already know what you're going to have. It's all loaded in, you know the values, takes all that stress out of the head, and you've got it already there in MyFitnessPal. All it is pull it up and away you go. So plan ahead, number one. Number two, this comes from, you know, so many years as a bodybuilder, is eat the same stuff every day. You know, once you get that set day's plan, then you can make the tweaks accordingly. So the time of recording here, you know, we're going through some, you know, people are panic buying through COVID and just doing stupid stuff like that. So I would have two of my meals a day would be chicken breast. But obviously we can't get chicken breast, so I've had to sub that out for a lean mince. Luckily, I ended up with the last 2 packets of lean mince from Aldi. How great's that? I might actually show you. Where's my food diary? I want to see mine. So if it's going to load for me, I've been having some internet dramas today, so bear with me. Food. Okay, so I'll show you. I've been mucking around with mine, so let's find a day that's already. Oh yeah, okay, here we go. So this is my general day. As you can see, meal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I know I said we try and keep an even influx of meals of nutrients throughout the day, but obviously meal 2 and meal 4 are smaller. They're just times I'm on the run. An apple I can eat just as we go. I can wolf that down between sessions. Meal 4, you know, a little bit of dark chocolate and some rice cakes, nice and easy. Again, I'm usually on the roads or about to be on the road around that time. But my main meals 1, 3, 5, and 6 are all decent sizes. This is a regular meal, regular day. So my chicken breast is meals 3 and 5. What I want to point out to you is meal 5. So we've got chicken breast here, 200 grams. They're the numbers there. 2 fats, 54 protein, 0 carbs. If we look at, I think it's today's I've logged in. Oh yeah, here we go. I've been playing with it. Right. Don't even have to go back a day. How great's that? Chicken breast, again, this one here, but I don't have any chicken breast. So I've got lean beef mince. So I put in 250 grams of beef mince, comes up as near as makes no difference, exactly the same protein intake. as near as makes no difference, it's exactly the same carbohydrate intake, but we've got a higher fat content in tonight's meal. So all that means is I sub something out. So the only thing that I've got left, well, I could have dropped the dark chocolate here for meal 4, and that would make this meal carbon copy of yesterday's. But then I'm stuck with the same issue of playing with the carbs, which is easy, and 2 grams of protein we made up for with the mince anyway. Following with me? So we drop the chocolate, that 2 comes down, that's offset at up here. So we're just trying to get the same numbers in and out. It's all about numbers. Yeah, the fat offsets the extra fats. The 2 protein here offsets the increased protein there. It's just the carbohydrates. So with that being carbohydrate, let's have a look at the only thing I've really got left to play with today, since I did my grocery shopping here. The only thing I've got left to play with that I can play with is the mango. So that's what it'll be. I'll probably just drop down that little bit of mango for tonight, and then my numbers will be nice and square. I hope that makes sense. I know there was a lot of back and forth between the two. At the end of the day, all you need to worry about is hitting your numbers. Number 1, protein, even split throughout the day. Fats, same deal, even split. Carbohydrates, we can get a little bit more technical and a little bit more manipulative around your day-to-day, your activity periods. I won't dive into that tonight because that's a whole new video, that one. But I do hope that makes sense. Oh, one more top tip actually is what we call reserve calories or emergency calories. Have an option for protein, an option for carbs, and an option for fats for your very last meal, something that you can take to the gram. So if you're still searching for, let's say, 10 grams of fats of a nighttime, you've got nothing else you can do, you've had your dinner, there's really nothing more that you're looking for, that you can eat, no more meals. These emergency calories are something that you can just grab right then and there, and you'll be able to hit your numbers 100%. Protein, obviously protein powder is a great option. If you're not big on the protein powder, I know some people aren't, it's non-essential. You could also go, say, cottage cheese is a great option, or some high protein yogurt or something along those lines. Be careful of the carbohydrates though in the yogurt. A reserve for fats, personally my go-to was peanut butter. It's a no-brainer. And carbohydrates, that's mine right here, the frozen mango. So I've always got frozen mango in the fridge, or 90% of the time I do. Something that's always sitting there, preferably non-perishable, that, like I said, you can take to the gram and really manipulate those final numbers that you've got there for the day. Where are we? Everyone's still with me? I'm not dragging on too much. Cool. So, any questions at all tonight? Anything you want me to touch on before we wrap everything up? No? Awesome. So, consistent numbers, do the sums, just sit down, work out, move me over here. Work out however many meals you're having through the day, whether that's 3, 4, 5, 7 meals, whatever. However many meals you're having, divide your target by that number, and that's your target for each meal. It's that simple. You know, we learned that sort of maths in grade 2. Aim for good quality ingredients. So lots of fruits, lots of veg, Nutrient dense foods every meal. Obviously avoid things like your processed meats, your fried foods, all of that nasty stuff. And while you're actually getting the hang of this, I would definitely avoid any takeaways, any eating out, anything like that, at least until you get the numbers down and you get the routine right. Not to say that you can never eat out again, because it's life and we have to enjoy life. But at this stage, keep it very simple. Have full control over what you eat. You don't have to eat what your partner is eating or your parents put in front of you, or, you know, we're all adults. We can make that decision to kind of say, okay, no thanks, I'm going to have chicken breast and veg, I'm going to cook my own, whatever. Awesome. So I think that's enough to get you started anyway. If there are any questions, please feel free to sing out. Like I said, I'll post the contact details in the description on YouTube, and we'll be sweet. I think I've covered everything. Otherwise, thank you for coming along. Thanks for sitting through. It was a bit more than 15 minutes. I do apologize. But yeah, thanks for putting up with me for the last half hour. Any dramas, please feel free to sing out. That's what I'm here for. I am here to help. And we'll go from there. Awesome. Thanks, guys. I'll see you all very soon.
Thank you.